Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose, and I talk to a lot of people around the Wadsworth community, city government, and the school system and beyond. And a previous show I did with Roger Wright, the director of the Four Cities Compact, we talked about a lot of the programming that he has in Barberton, Copley, Norton, and Wadsworth, and one was animal care. And I heard today on the radio that there was really a shortage of not only veterinarians, but veterinarians assistants. So many people have adopted dogs and cats over the pandemic, and the backlog for getting treatment for those animals is really long, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, even for a healthy dog. So if you can take a look at that program, that's very educational, and hope you enjoy that program with Roger Wright. Today, we're very pleased to have Vincent Suber, the new superintendent. Well, I gave you a promotion. How about principal of Wadsworth High School? And we're really pleased to have you on, and thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So thanks for welcoming me here.
What about your educational background? Can we start there?
Oh, absolutely. So I graduated my undergrad from Mount Union. I was a student athlete there, played football for the football team, and I graduated in 2003 with a degree in middle-aged childhood education. From there, I went on to work in the Cleveland Municipal School District, and I was laid off after 1 year there. So when I looked online, there were a lot of opportunities as an intervention specialist. So right away, in order to get employment, I began to pursue a master's degree in special education. So I received that in 2006 and was licensed as an intervention specialist. As I was in that process, I was hired at Copley Fairline, and in that process, I decided that I coach sports and things like that. So I decided that I would want to be an athletic director. So I then began to pursue another master's in administration, and I finished that in 2013 from the University of Akron. So then I got hired as a principal in Streetsboro, and when I was there, I decided to pursue my doctorate in education administration, and I literally submitted my final draft for a pre-defense on Tuesday. So in about 2 weeks, I'll be defending my dissertation.
Well, that's really exciting. I would imagine those particular positions have helped formulate your philosophy and your structure of education today.
Oh, absolutely. Again, you learn a lot at each process, so absolutely. And it's just amazing how, things just kind of grow upon each other, and the more, the more you learn, the better it is for you and your opportunity.
And I think you can also empathize. You know that as you coached and played at the fantastic Mount Union program. What a program, by the way. You certainly had a great deal of success there. And I had some students that I had at Black River played there over the years, and what a national powerhouse at Mount Union. And of course, the former Joe Tate to even go ahead and broadcast for some of the Raiders game, Purple Raiders games, and that was really fantastic. What about a mentor? Why do teachers and administrators, why can they benefit from a mentor?
Well, it's huge. So again, I hate to say this, but part of my dissertation, I focus on the family of origin. Family of origin can involve friends, teachers, parents, family members, and that family of origin can impact a student's future, can impact the way they view themselves, can impact their identity. So when we think of teachers and mentors, even parents, anyone who has a position of authority over a child, they have a huge impact in that family of origin, that child, and it impacts how that child is going to be raised and what they're going to become when they're older. So when people think that they don't make a difference, they do. When we have community members in a building, students and kids see that, and that can become their family of origin. So what a huge emphasis on my dissertation, what I learned in my chapter 5 was that family of origin has a huge impact on the success of a student. Or it can be the opposite too. If family of origin is negative and bad, it can also have a negative impact as well. So when I talk about mentorship and teachers, that's huge to be that good, positive role model, because students see that, and it's going to have a huge impact on their future.
That certainly is important, and role models, as you say, can take many forms. It can be, again, those activities that students are involved in, and not only the home, but teachers always seem to take a student or two under their wing. And I think that's pretty interesting. Sometimes the students, in my situation, there was a couple students that said, "Yeah, you were an influence on me," and sometimes the teachers, underestimate that.
Yes, yes. I need to give a story where a situation where I had a particular student, a nice student. I had him in the 6th grade, and last year I get a package, just kind of random, saying, thanking me for everything I've done, and he's now a big-time chef. He was actually in the culinary program for City Complex at Catholic Fairlawn. He went on to be a chef. He's been on cooking competition. You just see him at HGTV. He actually won guys' grocery games, but he wanted me to have his first cooking book. And so now I have a cookbook in my office from that. So you're right, like just someone that, again, I didn't coach him, had him for a year in class, but he just remembers just how people treat him, and that kind of that quote, a student will never remember what you taught them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And it kind of goes back to that. So it's kind of comforting to see those things, and just seeing kids be successful now in a variety of programs. It's just timely that goes along with what we're doing here at Wadsworth as well.
And it really does reiterate the impact that teachers and coaches and adults have on kids. It really is amazing sometimes, and the surprise is so great to see.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What about what motivated you to apply for the principalship here at Wadsworth High School?
It's funny you asked that. So, I have 4-year-old twins, and so they're starting to grow, starting to play sports, and so my mentality, literally about 2 months ago, was I never want to be at the high school because it's just so much time. And again, I've been high school assistant principal a lot of time. I've been working my PhDs a lot of time. But when I heard there was an opportunity to help a large number of kids, and my wife knows how I am, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to be in a larger school district and have an impact on so many students. I believe we have 1,600 students in our high school, and to be able to have those sort of impact on that, I couldn't pass up that opportunity. I couldn't wait to get involved. Talked to Dr. Hill. He kind of saw some positive traits of me being the principal and how I could help the school district. And so when I heard that, I had to to my wife, and she knows how I am. Kids are my passion, and so to be able to impact that many kids, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to apply and interview.
Right. What about your approach to the principalship? I know some people getting into new jobs kind of blow up everything and everything's a change. Some people keep the status quo and don't change anything. And then there's a middle ground where you might tweak a few things or change things to some degree. Where would your approach be?
Well, let me say, first of all, there's always room for growth. I truly believe that. But Wadsworth in general has been such a school district for a very long time. So as far as change, I'm not going to change much. I mean, Mr. Moore has done a great job, excellent job running the building for a long time. So if I can follow in his footsteps, I'll be okay. But at the same time, there are some things to improve. So I want to kind of take the first year, kind of learn the district, learn the city, learn the community, and just kind of adjust, what something that we can improve upon. Because again, I can improve as a principal, we can improve as students, we can improve as teachers. Everyone has room to improve. Again, and everybody knows the coaching background. Again, you always want to practice until you get better. So there's always room to improve, there's room to get better, and that's kind of the philosophy I have to take. So, but Wadsworth has been kind of a destination place for a long time, so there's not much change to the place. So, like you said, nothing like big blow up changes because it's a great school district with great teachers, great leaders, and I just hope to be a part of that tradition.
We touched on it a few moments ago, but maybe we can drill down a little bit more on student involvement. With, you say, 1,600 students, a lot of students in the Four Cities Compact may be competing in their particular craft and trade. We have Wadsworth has a very renowned, theater and background system, speech and debate. My daughters were both in that, and I can tell you that's quite a program. And athletics. Why is it significant for students to get involved?
Well, first of all, anytime you're involved in extracurricular activities, it just helps build long-lasting friendships. It helps organize structure. Like I said, I am typically when kids are involved in after-school activity, that group's GPA goes up because they have a routine, they have consistency. So it's always good to be involved in extracurriculars, and so that's why I love just the fact that there's so many groups, organizations, clubs. I'm a huge fan of the Wadsworth City Compact. I can tell you a personal story about a friend of mine who actually went through the carpentry program with Mr. K-Light that he still talks about to this day. So it's just such a great thing. It's just a great opportunity to be a part of that, and I can't wait to learn about that.
And those students in the compact, they really are kinesthetic learners. They're hands-on learners. They're again taught by people that really know what they're doing. In fact, I visited the last couple of years the house that the carpentry class built, since you mentioned it, and it just a wonderful job they did all around. And the people that purchased that house are very pleased with the end result.
Yeah. I'm not shocked to hear that, and I know Mr. Hill has been doing it for a long time. So he's just a wonderful person. Like I said, I've known him through the years with his wrestling program, and just students who have taken him that have nothing but great to say about him. So I'm sure those houses are great. He does a great job.
Any adjustments that you would make with? I think maybe Streetsboro had 600 or 700 students. I didn't really look it up, but I just kind of estimate doing a little umpiring there over the years, just a little bit. And 1,600 versus maybe 700. Any adjustments that you personally will make as principal?
The answer is yes. Lots of adjustments. First of all, I gotta give a shout out to my APs. Mr. Sieber and Mr. Berlin have been great. Kind of showing me the ropes, walking me through, telling me how things work. And what I've learning is that when you're at a school with around 600-700 students, you wear a lot more hats. You have a lot more responsibilities. When as principal of the school district with 1,600, you have different people and different jobs because there's so much of that responsibility. So for example, when I first got there, I met with the director of technology, Phil. And so he asked me what I needed. And so I said, well, first of all, I had a TV in my office. I said, I want to make sure I have the cameras hooked up to those TVs so I can view the cameras. I said that I want to make sure that I can present from my monitors straight to my TV so I can have presentation in my office. And he looks at me and says, okay, we can do that, but you have a security person and you have a research officer. If you need to watch videos, you can just ask them to pull up and send it to your cell phone. Oh, I said, well, I need to make a presentation. I did have my office to make presentations. He says, okay, we can do that, but you have a conference room right next door with the projector set up. So you want to present, you can go right next door to present. I say, okay. And I go, well, what do I have a TV for? And he says, to watch TV. And I'm still like, wow, I never thought I could watch TV with a TV in my office. So it's just like, even things like that. So I am finding that there's a lot more employees, obviously, to do a lot of different jobs that I used to do. But that's necessary because there's so many more kids. So they have the high school, and just particularly I know has a great system set up with people in the right places. So I can focus on things like instruction, focus on things like activities and clubs for students, and focus on whatever needs we have for the school district. So it actually has been, like I said, it's still a much bigger job. But again, we have a great staff, great people in place, and again, I got two APs who are just superb. So it seems like it's going to be a good fit so far.
And even you have a DARE officer, certainly protecting the students' safety and security is just one more thing that's added to the principal's agenda. And I'm sure you're going to continue to really stress a safe community and use your resource officer and teachers to assist you in making sure we have a safe learning environment.
Yes, we have to have that. That's the number one goal, is to make sure our students feel safe when they come to school. So yeah, we have to have that. We have to work together. And then I know Mr. Wadsworth has done a great job for a long time. I know he'll be there. Like I said, and then we have a great staff. So that's something that I'm sure they've already done. They're used to accustomed to, and I don't have to change much because I know that's always a priority within the school.
Speaking of safety, it seems like every day there's a new report of COVID-19, and suddenly the state is recommending, not mandating, but recommending masks. And boy, that you've committed quite a difficult time in regards to that safety, and we've never experienced anything like this. How did you approach it at Streetsboro, and will you use some of the same techniques here?
Well, I approached like everyone else is approached it. We'll do the best we can with the information we're given. That's the best we can do. So it's always a collaborative team approach. We'll meet with our leader, Dr. Hill. Again, meet with our board members to see what we recommend, and we'll come up with a plan, and we'll do the best we can. And that's, again, what we ask from our leaders, our teachers, our students, our parents. Again, this is a difficult, unknown time, and we'll navigate and guide through it the best we can.
Speaking of guide, my next question was, how do you utilize the guidance department? Sometimes, the guidance department can take a lot of different forms. In some schools, they're paper pushers. Some schools, they just help the seniors get into college. What is your viewpoint of the guidance staff, and how we utilize them to their fullest?
First of all, I think that the staff is kind of one of the most difficult positions, because you still want to provide that social emotional learning support, but yet, especially in high school, we got to get kids career and college ready, which falls in the guidance department. So again, our guys, the whole thing, especially this year, coming off the pandemic, it's such unknowns, unstructured. I think an emphasis should be focused on the emotional needs of our students. So I would like to know, and I have a meeting with my guidance department next week, so we'll kind of talk about those type of things. But what do we do to focus on the emotional needs? Now I know we already have things in place as far as transcripts, as far as college and career readiness. We have those things in place, but I'm interested to see what emotional supports we're going to provide for students. And again, I would like to see just not just our counselors, but everyone, teachers, adults, aides, tutors, principals, just being visible so the kids can see us, so they have somebody to talk to. So like I said, again, we'll meet, we'll talk about those things, but again, I just think just with so many uncertainties going on, we have to focus on the emotional needs of our learners. And so that's what I would like to work with our guidance department exclusively, in addition to all the other things they have to do, because again, they wear a lot of hats. So I do know we used to have 4 counselors, we now have a 5th school counselor. So with the 5 school counselors, kind of work with a plan that we can make sure we meet the needs of all of our students, again, emotionally, social emotionally, and of course, college and career ready.
I would think some of those concerns would really surface with the pandemic exacerbating people's finances, people not feeling comfortable, having pre-existing conditions. Some people, again, maybe the grandparent was affected, and those things that happen in the home certainly have to impact the performance of the students in school. And I would hazard a guess that your counselors, you may have to lean even more on them, as you indicated, to look at the well-being of the students. Right.
And just the anxiety of the unknown, we're all anxious about what we don't know. And so that's important too. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about too, as far as my staff, is that I think it was just the anxiety of the unknown. All the things you described is that we have to focus on the emotional needs of everyone, not just our students, but I'm thinking our teachers, our families. We have to look at what we're doing to provide that support for everyone. And so that's kind of one of my goals, to kind of sit down and see how we can do that. Because again, if our teachers aren't emotionally well, then our students is going to lead to our students not being emotionally well. So we have to find a nice balance of how we're going to work. Because again, everything you described, it's not just our teachers, it's everybody, it's our families, it's our teachers, everyone's going through that right now. So trying to figure out a way to navigate that would be a priority of mine as well.
I would think 1,600 plus students would be a challenge to get to know the students as an individual. Studies have shown that if high schools, the bigger they are, the more impersonal they get. How do you go ahead and approach that? And I would imagine the 4 cities compact and having smaller class sizes help. But really, sometimes some kids may fall through the cracks, and we don't want that to happen.
No, not at all. So it's funny, because I sat down with Mr. Keelag just yesterday. We had a long conversation, and he talked about that, just mentioned the importance of just being there. He just said, kids just want to see you. If our kids sees you, that has a huge impact on the success of my program. So when I say being visible, I have to be visible. And then when I said that, like our counselors, we should be visible. Our teacher, we should be visible. We should be in the hallway. We should be talking to kids. We should be at the lunch duty so we get to know certain kids so they don't fall through the cracks. And so it's just funny because he mentioned that impact. He's like, you don't have to do anything. I don't want you to say anything. But when kids see you, that's important. and that's what, even at family origin, if you're visible, when kids see you, you talk to them, have a conversation, you say hi to them in the hallway, that's important. That means something. Like, so I'm not a person I'll sit in my office. I'm a person that's going to be out in the hallways. And that's what I hope, again, our staff would kind of follow suit with that whole thing too, so we can help kids. Again, just being visible and talking to kids, that means a great deal. A phone call that's saying, hey, how are you doing? Means the world, because sometimes kids aren't doing well. And they won't say I'm not doing well, they'll say hi, but they just appreciate the fact that someone asked about them. And so being visible is going to help with that. So I think to kind of help with that, to kind of assist in that, it's just kind of my emphasis, just be visible, just be in the hallways, just go talk to kids during their unstructured time and lunch, or during, I know we have an academic piece that where kids kind of go to get different interventions. Let's talk to kids during those times. And so I welcome and I encourage that. Because again, I go back to, like I said, you can teach them fractions all you want to, but again, if you're not going to treat them well, they won't remember anything that you taught them.
What about your dealings with the support staff? Again, we talked about counselors sometimes being the unsung heroes. The counselors are very significant, but so are the secretaries, the maintenance people, custodians, and of course sometimes you don't interact with the bus drivers, but they get the kids, some of them, a lot of them drive, of course, safely to school. And those people are real significant to the success of your building, I would think.
Absolutely, yes. So again, I call them our heroes, like, because they do the behind the scenes things that people don't consider or think about. I tell you what, so I work pretty late. I've been in on Sundays and Saturdays the past couple of weeks. And so, because I think it's going to be an empty building, quiet, so I can get work done, so every time I'm in that building, there's someone there working, someone there cleaning, there's someone there moving my furniture in my office. Every single time. I mean, they're truly the unsung heroes, and I think sometimes they go underappreciated. But yes, our support staff has been great. I see our maintenance guy. Literally, I see our maintenance guys in the building tearing down walls. Like that's no joke. I see carpets being cleaned every day. I mean, they're busy. They're working, of course. Again, our bus drivers, I would argue that might be the most difficult job in the school district, to be able to monitor 60 kids, but have to keep your eyes on the road to make sure they're safe. So I would say we need to make sure we support them. Like I said, and I'd like to get a chance to meet everyone as well too. But absolutely, having a relationship with that support staff and communicating with them, that has been invaluable. I know my two secretaries have been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And so they've been helping me a lot, kind of get things kind of organized and things out to the staff already, and we're not even in August yet. So just the fact that they're there in July working, it's very impressive, and they work hard. I'm very thankful for the staff that I've been familiar with and met so far.
Same with substitute teachers. Sometimes it's not easy to get substitutes for teachers that are sick or at a conference or what have you. And I would think if they have a good experience, they might want to come back and help you further down the road. But if they have maybe not so good or negative experience, they'll say, well, I can go to Medina or Cloverleaf. Right. Why would I come to Wadsworth?
Well, first, I don't refer to I refer to them as guest teachers. That's substitutes.
Guest teachers, yes.
Because they're a teacher, and we'll respect them as teachers. We'll treat them as teachers. They're just having to be a guest for that day. So again, even that term, substitute, I have a sub. No, you have a teacher today. They're a guest, but you have a teacher today. So even that term, again, substitute, I refer to as guest teachers. When our guest teachers come, we're on our best behavior. We're obnoxiously on our best behavior. So we're extreme because they're guests. I like to have a guest in our home. We feed them. We give them drinks. We take care of them, make sure they're comfortable, make sure the house is clean. We do the same thing for our guest teachers as well. And so the same thing again, and just that mentality that I've always had. Make sure again that gets communicated to our staff and to our students. That we have a guest teacher. We'll make sure our classrooms are organized. We'll make sure our students are well behaved. We'll make sure that we treat them as guests in our building, because that's what they are. They're teachers and they're guests, and so that's how we treat them as such. So, and hopefully that mentality will keep again our guest teachers coming back, because they know they'll have that good experience.
What steps might you take to keep the parents and families in Wadsworth supportive and coming to the, again, plays and games and activities so they continue to be supportive?
Well, again, I explained to you that being visible piece, you know, and show the different events, being visible, being at as many events as I can. So you'll probably see my two twins running around. So I have a boy and girl twin. And just kind of pre-warning, if you see him climbing up walls and like tearing things out, I apologize in advance because he's going to be doing all those things, you know. So I'll blink, he's up the hill, you know. He's just so I apologize in advance for when you see him running around. But just being, like I said, how my family did different events, being as visible as possible. What I try to do is I like to communicate as much as possible. So again, I just learned about the TV show I can use as a source. I try to email parents and community members at least once a week at the very least. And again, like I said, just that visible communication piece. And offer opportunities to meet with me, you know, so they can come and meet with me. And I hope parents know, community members know that you can email me, call me, stop in and see me anytime you need to, because I'm always a source to talk to as well. So just that, even that open door policy that community members know, not community members, teachers, staff, support staff, students, they can come and reach me and talk to me anytime they need to.
We talked about collaboration for a minute, but it's really important for the administrative staff to really be on the same page and work together. Could you comment for a moment about that, how important that is?
Well, yeah, it is important. It's just I haven't had time to meet my
Right,
administrative staff yet.
I understand.
But yes, it's very important. And I know one of the first things I get in my office the first day, and Dr. Hill waiting for me, you know. So I know he thinks that's important, so I'm sure that'll kind of trickle down to the rest of our admin team. So, but yeah, absolutely, it's nice to work together. Like I said, I actually had lunch with the middle school principal, Mr. Jackson, yesterday. Just kind of talk, because, you know, we're sharing a lot of the same facilities, the same kids, you know. So they kind of come with a game plan as well. So yes, so that collaboration piece is important. And so just going to the process of just meeting different administrators and see how we can work together. But like I said, I know my two APs are wonderful. Mr. Jackson has been wonderful. We had some great ideas yesterday at lunch, and met a lot of community members at the lunch as well too. So yes, it's important. I think that we'll be a great team together. I just really do.
Vincent Suber, it's been a pleasure talking to you, getting to know you a little bit. We'll have to do it again sometime. Once you have a few months under your belt, it would be great to invite you back.
To ask you about my suit, remember?
Oh yeah, what about your suit? Hey, you're pretty dapper today.
Thank you. So this is how I typically dress, and I'll make sure so my good friend who was in the carpentry program, he now owns suit stores, so he's the one that kind of takes care of me with my wardrobe. He works at a store called Tickner's. The local ones in Summit Mall, and so I told him that I'll make sure he's a Wadsworth product. He did the whole program. Good for cop. We went to the carpentry program at Wadsworth. I'm doing very well successfully as Tickner's, as one of the people who opens most of the stores, and he's the one that outfits me. So if you like the outfit, please feel free to visit Tickner's.
You know, I'm looking for my youngest is getting married next May, so I'll tell you, I may have to look him up and pick up a suit coming up.
So my wedding suit was from Tickner's, and my whole wedding party wore suits from Tickner's. So
wonderful.
So that would be a great opportunity for your son to get married and get some good deals and good clothing from a great store.
And
a great person.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
I appreciate that.
We'll have Daniel Chafin, the new police chief of the City of Wadsworth, next week, and the week after that, Dr. Hill will join us. Thanks for viewing.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.